Could you please tell us your name and what it is that you do?
Yeah, my name is Alfie Vaughan. I'm a visual effects supervisor at Coffee and TV.
My name is Rahul, and I'm a compositor at Blue Bolt.
Amazing. For how long have you been a compositor at Blue Bolt?
At Blue Bolt the last 6 months, but a compositor about 4-ish years.
My name's Sanson. I'm a recruiter at Union Visual Effects.
Well, my name is Joshua Milliard in Long. I work as an environment artist at Framestore. Basically that involves creating and assembling the environments you see in movies.
I am Simon and I'm a senior 3D artist at Blue Bolt.
So I'm a marketing and PR consultant at Blue Bolt Visual Effects.
My name is Christopher Hart. I am a prop modeler and environment artist. I've recently graduated from University of Hertfordshire and I am currently looking for employment, and I've come to this event.
I'm Jack Meaton. I've just graduated, but I'm looking to get a job in real-time VFX for games or virtual production.
I'm Noah Elliott.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Axie. So, could you please tell us, what is it that you do?
I do freelance film work, both filming and editing. Been doing it for just about a year now after finishing college.
My name is Ilmi, not ILMI or ILM1, Ilmi. I am a 3D animator, character animator, trying to break into the industry.
So I'm Dan, the founder of Talk to Dan, and what we do, we're a media agency that bridges the gap between employers and young creatives.
And could you tell us a little bit about Access VFX and what it is?
I've actually met Simon through work experience a long time ago. Obviously pushed Access VFX to allow young people to get into animation, VFX gaming, to give like a space for young people to understand exactly what's out there.
Access VFX is a great event. It raises awareness for diversity and inclusion, and I've been attending these events for the past 4 to 5 years now.
So just to clarify, before you got into the industry, you've been accessing Access VFX.
Yes.
So Access VFX have put on this fantastic event for young talent wanting to come into the VFX industry. They're a whole cross-section of great people from different companies talking about what they do, from VFX production, environments and anime and more.
Access VFX, well, I know that guy over there, the creator, the founder, Simon, and through networking, which is very important, I got to know Access VFX and I became a member. I've been too busy working to utilize it to the maximum.
So are you a mentee?
Yes, I am. I'm many things. One of them is a mentee, yes.
What is the dream job? What is the light at the end of the tunnel?
Directing.
How did you get into the VFX industry? Like, how did you find out about it?
Try and make a long story short, I was originally a prop artist, someone who would make props for film and television, but then I had some health issues that meant I couldn't do some of the more physically demanding stuff, and I met someone who was doing VFX and someone else was doing games, and they showed me 3D modeling, and I just jumped into that, and it was so much fun.
I've heard that you've done a workshop today at Access VFX.
I did, yeah. I did a workshop about my journey from an apprentice to a visual effects supervisor. So I started off just talking a little bit about my journey, and then I talked about an example project and went through the whole process from shooting to the post-production, ended on a little bit of advice for aspiring artists, and then we finished on a Q&A.
Sounds amazing. Did you enjoy running your workshop?
I did, yeah. It's always really nice to see this animation toy make people think about animation in new ways and in less polished ways and more accessible ways. It's like there's this moment where they get the toy and they capture the 8 frames of animation on it, and you can just see this like spark of surprise and joy where they're like, I never thought I could animate something, but anybody can.
The workshop I led is from set to screen. It was me basically talking about producing from both sides, producing on set and producing in post-production.
Earlier you mentioned that you have your own company.
Yes, so I run a post-production company called Nuevos Post-Production. We're fairly new, but don't let that scare you. Between me and my editor, we have a combined decade of experience. We really just wanted to push the boundaries of post-production. We're both storytellers and we believe story first, like that's our philosophy. We want to give opportunities to underrepresented people and basically like bulldoze the industry and show that it's not just about ticking boxes, like there are some really talented people. So you've got a woman-led, woman-owned post-production company who are trying to take the industry by storm.
Today I presented a kit bashing tutorial, which is a very niche modeling workflow that basically involves taking like tiny pieces, greebles, think of it like Lego pieces, and assembling to make things that look cool.
I was able to talk to one of the speakers, Josh Milliard, and he answered all of my questions really clearly, really succinctly, in a really interesting and in-depth manner. Because I know it can be really easy to get lost in these kind of questions about modeling, especially of how like in-depth it is with detailing. But he was able to answer all of my questions and answer some other, like I think, quite complicated questions really from other guests in a very understandable, very bite-sized way. That was really exciting, and it's really fun to see someone who is at the top of their field doing the job that you want to do, because it just gets you excited for it. And I've been to a few other speakers here, and it's been really great, and it's really getting me more excited to like stay in this industry and to keep working on it.
Could you give us some advice for young people trying to join the industry?
Okay, well, I'm a PR and marketing person, so what I'm going to say is think about your network. Think about who you know, think about who you could connect to. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. If you have a friendly face that is somebody you meet at an event, ask if you can connect with them on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to ask a question. People are usually pretty flattered to be asked advice. And the other thing is sign up for the Access VFX mentoring scheme and find yourself a mentor.
That is a good question. On the mind of a lot of young people, I'm sure. It's tricky, if I'm honest. It's not so straightforward. Things are always changing. The industry's changing. The type of work we're doing is changing. The way we do it is different. To get your foot in the door, I think it's going to take more than just messaging a lot of people on LinkedIn or sending a CV to 1,000 different people. I think having a strong portfolio is always key. That's what stands out. But beyond that, I think it's really about connecting with the right people, even if it is sending messages, but networking and meeting people in person, making friends with people who actually work in industry and work at the place that you want to work in. And I think that's a really, really valuable asset to have, is to have people you know in the company you want to work in. And that goes way beyond a CV or an application. Sometimes just word of mouth is the strongest recommendation you can.
Yeah, I think something that worked out really well for me and that I always say to people is going against the grain is very important. Trying to stand out and not necessarily going exactly the same route as everybody else, because everyone's kind of otherwise all doing the same thing, and then it's difficult to, you know, be recognised above the crowd. My route in was I went in as an apprentice, and that was quite a different way into the industry as opposed to going to university, which is more traditional, and it really paid off for me. And 8 years later, I'm in a really fortunate position to be able to say that I've progressed through my career very quickly. And so I always say the same thing to other people, is that doing something slightly different and trying to stand out is very useful.
Be friendly, and remember that pretty much all of us get imposter syndrome every single day at work, and that's perfectly normal.
What about some showreel advice?
Try not to worry too much about what music you put on, because we'd never ever listen to the music. Keep it short and put your best work on it.
It's a really difficult question because, first of all, the industry is incredibly varied. So there's lots of ways to find your in, depending on what your interest is. Breaking it right down, I would say, first of all, you have to be driven by a passion. I mean, animation is not an easy thing to do. You need a lot of patience, and it can be quite tough, especially if you don't feel like your voice is getting heard. You need to have that passion and that drive, that thread of just being really excited about that creative process of making things move shows through, and then people see it, pick up on it, and then inevitably that can be an in. So really, for me, it's that kind of core fundamental. Robert, what would you say?
I think for me, when I started out, my first studio job that I was able to get through connections, it was nothing like what I do today. It was nothing like the work that I really cared about, but I was able to go in and say, like, okay, what can I learn from this scenario? We're making like interactives for museums, so it was a lot of like pages of a book turning, but that taught me programs like Cinema 4D. That taught me so much digital process that was able to move me forward. I don't think there's such a thing as like the wrong job for someone if there's something you can take from it.
I would say probably start as soon as possible, networking and getting your LinkedIn and coming to events like these to just get your name out there, get your conversational skills up with industry professionals and people actually in the industry, because at the end of the day people will be looking for quite a big culture fit as well as just a skills and software fit. People are going to want to know that you'll fit well in their studio, and a good way to show that is, kind of start conversations early.
Get out to as many networking events as possible. You can't go wrong. It's a small community. The more people you kind of get to know, the better. And
what about showreel advice?
Showreel advice. For junior compositors, I'd say have a mix of everything in there. Cover, roto, prep, comp. Try and get as much feedback as you can before you kind of apply to places. Whilst I was at Escape Studios, I found that a lot of the feedback sessions were quite useful. Yeah, just try and get as much feedback as possible.
Don't get complacent. Like, solve a problem I have before I've even told you. In fact, spot problems that I haven't even spotted. Yeah. I think a lot of people will be like, oh, experience with, pipelines and the software. That's all a training thing. But you can't train intuition. You can't train someone to be proactive. That has to come.
And what about starting your own business in VFX? Can you tell us a little bit about how you did it? It sounds like a humongous thing for someone to do.
Yeah, it was a lot of doing and learning. Sometimes you just have to start the business and learn as you go, and mistakes are your biggest teachers. You're never gonna make the same mistake twice, especially when it costs you money. But also I think finding mentors, absolutely. If you can find someone who is willing to give you nuggets of advice, and you're just every month just checking in with them and saying, hey, this is where I'm at with the business, these are the things that I'm struggling with. You see founder stories and it's all very glamorous and stuff. Like, you have to be honest with people about where you are. I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with cash flow, I don't understand how to file my taxes. Like, tell people what it is that you want from them, and you'll be really surprised like how much they're willing to give you because of your honesty. Always carve out time for training. I did a lot of training. I didn't just decide, I want to be a producer and now I want to be post-producer. I did courses. I did a course on basically understanding the workflow and the pipeline and the software, because I need to be able to speak that technical language. So I didn't just jump into it because that's not where my experience lies. Yes, I've worked as a producer and I've taken films from production to post, but I was by no means an expert, and still by no means I'm an expert. Like, I'm still figuring it out, but take the time to do the training.
It sounds like you're getting more and more experience by the day. And what's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part? Getting to work on something different, like constantly, seeing different new things all the time, and having the opportunity to learn things on the job is super exciting. Like, not knowing what you might be doing the next week or the week after that, I wake up excited every day thinking about what I might achieve.
I think the thing that I enjoy most is the two natures of my job. So I get to do a lot of travelling for going on shoots and seeing parts of the world I probably wouldn't see if I was just on holiday, which is very cool. And then I also enjoy actually doing the work and being back in the office and getting to sit down at my desk and make the creative stuff that comes along with visual effects.
So you said you travel for work. Could you tell us about an interesting place that you've gone to?
Yeah, so last year I did a commercial for Nissan. They released a new car and we went out to Montana for 4 days, myself and another VFX supervisor at Coffee and TV. We went up to a 35,000 acre ranch in Montana and spent a few days filming with the mountains in the background. It was absolutely stunning.
My job, honestly, it's just getting to do something creative every day. And it's not just like drawing, it's like communicating with other people, and like even just looking at things and assessing things and being like, how can this move better? How can this look better? Like, I'm exercising that muscle every single day.
What about you?
I mean, it's sort of similar. Our studio's quite small for an animation studio and a commercial animation studio, I guess, doing the volume and the scale of projects that we do. It means that there's a lot of kind of crossover with the roles that we do, and we do structure projects in terms of kind of like sign-off, so there are layers of sign-off within the studio, but it's exactly like Robert was saying. For me, a lot of my day-to-day is the assessing of sequences, of projects, of design. Obviously, my background is animation and I'm a creative person, so I love getting in the weeds and doing the work as well. But it's so varied across what we do in animation and creativity that it means that every day's a little bit different, which is awesome.
So basically you do creative work, you do animation, and every single day is different because you're doing so many different projects. You do everything.
it's always about character with us. That's like our core principle, is like adding joy, spark to every little thing, whether that is that kind of brand emotion. It's like, what does this brand say, and how can we characterize the emotion to encompass that brand? Or someone has a character mascot and we can make it move in ways that really embody the brand. It's this kind of thing. We can
give it a personality.
Absolutely. We're all about personality. We're huge personalities. So.
For me personally, it's probably just the amount of people and the range of people I get to meet. Because obviously, as a recruiter for the whole company, I talk to everyone regardless of their level, their department, their role, their everything. And so I get to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds, and it's just constantly interesting.
I think a very part of my job is seeing the transition of a young person. So there's actually some young people that were here last year and actually spoke to them earlier, and seeing when they first come into the room, maybe they want to build their confidence or they're not sure where to start, and then seeing where they are within 6 months to 12 months is the transition. So it's kind of seeing that they've taken new skills, they've gone away, learnt tutorials, things like that. So I think that's key, because it's a transition, but also the implementation that they're taken from going to an event or doing work experience. So yeah, that's the favourite part of my job.
Favourite part of my job is definitely collaborating with other artists and being creative with other artists and having a safe space to feel free to express that side of myself and creating something beautiful and telling a story with other people.
If you had to explain 3D animation and VFX to your grandma, so your grandma comes up to you like, "Oh, hello, grandson, can you please explain your job to me?" What are you replying?
I'd probably first start off by watching Jurassic Park with her and saying, "You see those dinosaurs? You know they're not real, right?"
Watch this.
We realise dreams. It's not a tangible thing. We can bring anything into being, and that's magic.
I think I just boil it down to it's like stop motion animation, but digital.
I would tell her, when you're shooting a film or a TV program, well, the bits that you can't do in camera, someone's got to go and do the digital bits in a studio somewhere.
I'm a magician.
I'd just say, just get creative.
Tell your grandma to get creative.
Get creative, grandma. This is what it is. This is what it is.
She'd think I was doing witchcraft.
I'll say to my grandma, it's out of this world. It's out of this world. I think that is the out of this world. Before, yeah.
It's like everything that you can imagine, it can be done.
Yeah. It can be magical, it can be scary, and it can be thought-provoking.
Well, I would say grandma.
Yes, grandson. What is it that you do?
Well, you remember when you were watching TV? Well, some of the things you might have seen. Would you believe me if I told you none of that was real? And I'm responsible, unfortunately. I'm the one making these insane, unrealistic visuals that you're seeing.
And how are you doing it?
How am I doing it? With something called witchcraft and wizardry.
I've been telling my parents for the last 4 years I'm doing editing, which is the closest thing to compositing.
So you have a P on the table. You have a P on the table, and you filmed the P. You've taken a picture of the P, and you need to make the P look bigger in the picture. So there's software that has code that makes the P look bigger.
Yeah, that works.
That is all I think that's all grandma can handle, because I know grandma's like, how did the P get there? Who took the picture? That's all I got.
Hello everyone, we are here with Simon. We just finished yet another Access VFX event. How did it go, Simon?
Incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a super success. Super busy, we sold it out, we had some amazing workshop hosts. They were inundated. I mean, bearing in mind we normally finish at 9 and it's nearly 9:30. We couldn't get rid of people.
So what was your favourite part of today? What was the highlight?
You know what I loved is meeting some mums and their kids. We rarely see that, and I know it happens at events, but speaking to some parents who had brought their children with them was just, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it now. It was wonderful. But I think it was just seeing everybody come in and just hearing the stories, hearing about people who have signed up to the mentoring program, what it means to them. You know, we had Rahul here from Blue Bolt, who I had no idea came up via the Access VFX mentoring program. He's now an established artist. And working with Dan again, you know, Dan's an amazing young man who's just created something really special through Talk to Dan as well. So it's like the perfect collaboration for us. So we're trying to do the same thing. So expect more from the dynamic duo that is Access VFX and Talk to Dan. But yeah, I think when families come to these things, I do find it quite touching, I must admit, and I feel like we're reaching the right people.
I think it was a wonderful event. So many people showed up and everyone was talking to each other and enjoying it. There were so many different workshops focusing on so many different areas of expertise. It was great. You did a great job organizing it.
Thank you. So did you. You guys smashed it.